So from that, we get into the very essence and the conceptual understanding of the lecture. When I had my first awakening at the age of 21, and then later on, it followed through at the age of 31. What was happening along the way was this manufactured, fabricated thing called the ego was being shattered in me. By the time I reached the age of 31, it was completely shattered, destroyed, split down the middle. What I'm about to say is going to sound like I'm talking about Freudian psychoanalysis, but I'm not endorsing that. I just need a place to begin to explain it to you guys, that's all. When it got split, of course, what did it split into? The superego and the id, okay? What that really means is that from id, ego, and superego, you get self, soul, and spirit, okay? That's the metaphysical equivalent, all right? The next level you would go to of significance would be understanding the self, of course, is the flesh, the soul, and then the spirit. What this relates to in Gnosticism and numerology is the idea of the numbers 666, 777, and 888, okay? Now, one of the biggest misunderstandings throughout history is that you get these nut jobs, once again, white Christians, who say, oh, 666, the work of the devil. And there's a reason why they say that is because Christianity is a pulpit of propaganda for Freemasonry, white Freemasons, all right? So they don't want you waking up to anything, and I'm telling you, what I am telling you is forbidden. This is why my head is wanted on a silver platter, because I'm not supposed to be talking to you about this stuff. But the thing is, 666 is the beast. But the question was, and the question that nobody ever bothered to ask was, who the hell is the beast? Okay? The beast is the man. You, me, the next door neighbor. That is the beast. And the beast is the slave, henceforth the consumer slave. Another concept, like I said before, flesh and bone versus wood and stone, another concept to keep in the back of your mind. There are two kinds of people in the world. And you need to decide what side of the playing field you're on. And those two kinds of people are consumer slave or master investor. All right, this relates to the symbolism here. I use the term master investor. It comes straight out of the real estate arena and economics, but it can be used as a metaphor for anything. You could be a master investor at anything. Spirituality, economics, history, religion, ufology, it doesn't matter what you want to relate it to. The point is that the number 666 is man, as the beast, the consumer slave. 777 in between represents transcendence, the trials of life. That path that you go on to stop thinking like a consumer slave and move into the mentality of a master investor. Which, of course, leads you to 888, infinity, godhood. This is what the number 8 represents, infinity in the first place. It is the symbol for infinity. Also known as Jumachu or Jumachi, it is a state of completion, and that's why I use the term master investor, because once you get out of the rut of thinking like a consumer slave or being in the rat race, you start thinking like a master investor, you get on the fast track, and that fast track could be anything. It could be money, it could be knowledge, okay? It could be traveling, it could be visionary, philosopher, okay? Someone like me going on the warpath. From that level of understanding, you get into the area of philosophy and free association, which would be exploration, utilization, and revelation. This is circular thought, because every time you get to the level of revelation, you're back to more questions again, and you're re-exploring. This is also known as the power of creation for artists and gods, okay? From exploration and utilization and revelation, you get into, now, of course, the symbolism of the lecture itself, history, health, and wealth. All right. Now, there's always going to be adversarial linchpins to understanding why why these symbolisms exist at all in this layered understanding. Those linchpins, the things that you would have to knock down like a domino effect in order to get to the truth. For history, it would be Repto-Syrian fascism. And I'll explain that term. Extraterrestrial intervention and Freemasonry. For health and wellness, it would be an invasion of the body, mind, and spirit, which is also known as the Temple of Solomon, okay? And this, of course, leads right to the abduction phenomena, which is a rape and molestation of the Temple of Solomon, your body, polluting the body, pharmaceutical multinationals, poisoning the gene pool and the bloodstream of the family of man, people of color and hue, okay? Keeping the beast asleep. Remember, we're all brainwashed with the idea that the beast is some exterior entity or prince of darkness, okay? The beast is within the self, and that's the thing you need to conquer, because that'll always be your worst enemy, the reflection you see in the mirror. In terms of health and wellness, body, mind, and spirit, abduction phenomena, the cancer industry. When I talk about the health issues, the ultimate linchpin is to topple and destroy the cancer industry. I don't care what disease you have. It could be anything from AIDS to Alzheimer's, diabetes, arthritis, Hodgkin's disease, I don't care, Ebola. The first and most important thing to kill off is the cancer industry. Because once you crack that baby wide open, everything else falls into place, okay? This is the biggest money-making, multi-billion-dollar gambit, okay? And there are very effective, healthy, alternative ways of permanently destroying cancer in your own body without hacking off limbs and ripping out lungs and turning the body into a chunk of meat that isn't even worth keeping alive anyway. At that point, you might as well just put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. As far as wealth and money, the linchpins, of course, now, real estate investing, which is a good thing. I'm not painting it as a bad thing, but it's where all the power and knowledge is, okay? And then we get into, the bad stuff, economic slavery, Internal Revenue Service, which is the ultimate linchpin there, the domino effect, just like the cancer industry. Remember, the IRS is an external corporate entity hired by the United States government, so you're being controlled by an external corporation, which of course goes with the flow of Repto-Syrian fascism and Freemasonry anyway. Okay. The rest of it is broken down into the sections of the lecture itself, history, health, and wealth, plus other additional sections towards the back, linguistics, the dating game. I've started that section to put in key dates that you guys should remember. I put words in the linguistic section to remind you of the things we'll be talking about today so that you don't forget, okay? And these areas are always being updated, all right? Now, what I want to start off with is I'm going to write things on the board on two sides. I'm going to try and do it that way. And we'll be talking about terminology, where words come from, words we take advantage of, take for granted every day, angel, demon, shadow, God, stuff like that, where they actually come from. And you'll be surprised to realize that most of the words that you take for granted every day in that particular sense all came from an extraterrestrial source, an extraterrestrial dialect, okay? But aside from that, what I'll do is kind of like split things into two on either side of the board. This side will be symbolisms relating to the Moorish legacy. This side will be symbolisms relating to the Masonic agenda, okay? In fact, I will do that right now. Moorish legacy and Masonic agenda. I have to tell you guys, I'm in my glory tonight. I actually have a board to draw on Masonic. I never get that. I have to always wing these things from the hip, and hope I get it right. Which is another reason why I have the syllabus, because it serves as a traveling chalkboard. Okay. So how did all this stuff start? Well, in terms of the cosmology of it all and how it got to the point, the concept being flesh and bone versus wood and stone, or in terms of the Moorish legacy, the lamp of illumination versus the iron hand of oppression. Okay? Lamp of illumination.